Now here's international correspondent Michael Davey in Peru.
The high Andes of central Peru, some of the remotest country on Earth. These windswept hills hide a treasure, prized almost as highly as gold by the ancient Incan civilization. A plant with reputedly mythical power called maca.
Maca greatly enhances energy and endurance. It boosts sex drive. Maca makes people feel good.
Chris Kilham is on a quest. He believes it might be the next billion-dollar plant. Kilham is a bioprospector. He's been called the Indiana Jones of botany. He goes to the ends of the earth to find herbal and traditional remedies that might be the next ginseng or the next aloe vera.
Will this maca that's cultivated...
His knowledge of indigenous cultures and traditional cures has made him one of the most wanted men in the burgeoning big business of alternative medicine.
The herbal business worldwide is worth about $100 billion a year, so it's not little. It's not a billion. Yeah, it's not a cottage industry. And you know, companies like this are doing hundreds of millions of dollars of business in extracts.
Companies like French giant Naturex rely on Kilham to track down new plants for herbal remedies and ingredients for health foods. Plants like ginseng and echinacea, and a host of others.
I think now most people realize that so many drugs are toxic, they're overly expensive, people die from them, and that herbs work. They always have. I mean, humans have been using herbs for all time. Why wouldn't we continue to do so? They're the best medicines we have.
Kilham has spent the last 20 years of his life bringing ancient remedies and plant medicines to the Western world. At his home in Massachusetts, his medicine cabinet contains a cornucopia of promising natural remedies.
This is Tongkat Ali. This is the Malaysian tree root. It's really the natural Viagra. So these are the giveaway.
Kilham tracks traditional cures to their source, dealing with native people in the furthest flung parts of the world.
I've got something really weird back here. Cordyceps.
Ooh.
This is a parasitic fungus that grows on caterpillars. This comes from northern China or Tibet.
They look like caterpillars. Is that,
Yeah.
is that a caterpillar?
Well, it's a fungus that grew on a caterpillar and completely ate away all of the caterpillar. So there's now no caterpillar left. This greatly enhances cardiac output, like the actual amount of blood that your heart puts out. This stuff is extremely expensive. I mean, you could pay thousands of dollars for a pound of cordyceps.
Kilham is personally responsible for finding and promoting 10 major alternative medicines now available on the Western market, including kava, used to treat anxiety, and a natural aphrodisiac called catuaba.
Is plant medicine better?
Plant medicine is unquestionably better and safer. I mean, every year about 300,000 Americans die from the proper use of over-the-counter and prescription drugs. Every year, mostly, nobody dies from the use of herbs in North America. Safety is definitely with herbal medicine.
Kilham now believes maca could be the next big thing in herbal remedies. But it's only grown in one place in the world, the Andes Mountains of Peru. We travelled with Kilham on one of his recent expeditions to see this maca plant for ourselves. First stop, Lima, Peru. This city of 2 million people was founded by the Spanish conquistador, Francisco Pizarro, the man who destroyed the ancient Incan civilization. But that Incan heart still beats deep within this modern city, and many of Kilham's discoveries in traditional cures and plant medicines have begun here, in Lima's main market.
I love these markets.
Why do you love them? I mean,
Well, I mean, I love the people, I love the scene. You know, look, I mean, it's community.
It's a treasure trove of natural medicines. In Peru, if you're sick, this market, and not the drugstore, is where you come for relief.
Humans and proto-humans have been using plant medicines for 60,000 years that we know of, and our flirtation with synthetic pharmaceutical drugs isn't 100 years old. In the US, we're the most drug-addled culture in the world, okay? I mean, we take drugs for restless leg syndrome instead of going out and taking a walk. You know, we're insane. So we have the highest barrier against plant medicine of any culture.
But there are signs that America's drug-dependent culture is changing. Statistics show that more and more of us are turning away from pharmaceutical drugs and turning onto alternative medication. And that's making what Chris Kilham calls Big Pharma, the major pharmaceutical companies, very worried.
They're on the one hand completely aware that this stuff is real, and on the other hand, absolutely unsure of what to do about it. You know, I mean, I've spoken to many of the big pharma companies. They bring me in to talk to them. But they're about a single molecule. Okay, show me the one magic bullet in this stuff that works. But that's like saying, show me the one ingredient in apples that's good for you. No, a whole apple's good for you. It's the fiber, it's the vitamins, it's the water, it's the sugars, it's the everything, okay? It's the whole apple. They're not whole apple kind of people.
That's left the field of bioprospecting, once dominated by the big drug companies, wide open to people like Chris Kilham and companies like NatureX, while Big Pharma focuses on synthetic chemical compounds.
They think, oh no, you know, we're the superior technology people. You primitive folks don't know what you're doing about. We don't want to talk with somebody who boils bark in a pot. Well, you know, the person who boils bark in a pot may in fact have an antiviral medicine of enormous value, may have an anti-tumor medicine.
As we wander through this market, we see all manner of traditional medicines, even pickled snake.
See? Culebra, see? Yeah, but I think this is a fer de lance. It's the #1 cause of death among people in the Amazon.
The snake's venom can be lethal, but Peruvian Indians also use snake toxin to treat arthritis and joint pain. Major health organizations in the West are also now working with toxins to treat neurodegenerative disorders like Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's. To Kilham, it goes to prove that however unlikely a traditional remedy may seem, never dismiss it.
You know, when I was a kid, a lot of children used to die from pediatric leukemia. And then somebody discovered a common alkaloid in the Madagascar periwinkle, and that's now the #1 treatment for pediatric leukemia. And guess what? Most of those kids live. I mean, plants yield life-saving drugs.
But for every traditional cure that might make it into the Western medical chest, there are plenty that won't. After all, there's very little separation here between religion, superstition, and medicine. Walking through the market, we see magic charms, amulets, even llama fetuses. And at a nearby stall, something even stranger, a blended drink made with frogs.
It's pretty gross, okay? It's kind of a trial by blender drink, if you will.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's sort of an important thing to get exposed to some of the really, truly weird parts of the culture at the same time that we're dealing with the, you know, the botanical medicines and the, you know, the serious health implications of some of the plants we're researching.
Peruvians claim the frog shake is an energy booster and, inevitably, a sex enhancer.
That's great.
A dash of bees' pollen, a spoonful of honey, then the frog is blended.
I don't know about this.
Nobody knows about this.
Cheers.
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 All right, gentlemen.
To the world and all that's
To
weird.
energy and power and frogs.
Okay. That's not bad, actually. That's very, very strange, but it doesn't taste like Kermit.
It's got a funky aftertaste.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Okay. No, now it's starting to taste weird.
Yeah, now it tastes nasty. Yeah.
Engaging in bizarre customs, consuming what to us are bizarre concoctions, it's all part of Kilham's process of investigation. That's because he believes that somewhere, perhaps right here in this Peruvian market, there may be a natural, traditional remedy that can help cure our worst afflictions. He says we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible.
Right now we get about 50,000 medicinal plants worldwide.
Non-medicinal plants.
Yeah, but there may be many tens of thousands more. Is there possibly, for real, something that can have a profound inhibiting effect on something like HIV? Possibly. We don't know what else is out there.
Kilham also consults with local doctors and health officials who are much more likely to take herbal and natural remedies seriously than our American doctors.
I ask what plants have been used for long periods of time for specific medicinal purposes.
Like, if this has been used for purposes of relieving kidney disorders, that's real interesting to me.
One of the plant medicines that's been used here since time immemorial is maca. And to find its source, we leave Lima and begin what will be an epic journey into the Peruvian high country.
So where are we going, Chris? How far are we going?
Well, we're going up into the central highlands of the Peruvian Andes. So we're going up over 16,000 feet. It's going to take us about 7 hours to get there, but that's where maca grows. It's the only place where maca grows.
We're heading for perhaps the highest cultivated fields on Earth. 300 miles inland, 3 miles up. It's a dangerous but spectacular ride, further and further into the Andes, always climbing. The Ticlio Pass at 16,000 feet brings us into the heart of the central Peruvian highlands. After 9 hours, we come to the end of the road. Literally. This windswept hillside, 14,000 feet above sea level, is our destination. It may look barren, but it's actually a thriving field of maca.
I've been feeling a bit lightheaded. I suppose that's the altitude.
Yeah, lower, there's a change in the atmospheric pressure, a change in the oxygen concentration. And if you move too quickly, like if you walk at the pace that you would typically walk, you'll probably fall down.
Yeah.
So you just kind of want to moonwalk it a little bit, nice and slowly, take your time. But this is where the people in the highlands, do their work.
Chris, his partner Sergio Cam, and local maca farmer Raul Vicente inspect the maca field. This field was planted 3 months ago. It will be another 4 to 5 months before the maca will be harvested.
Right now, they're just tiny, tiny little things because they haven't really started to take off. So what doesn't look like much here.
So is that the bulb?
Yeah, this is the root, or what's known as a hypocotyl. And eventually this will be a big plump thing like a fat radish or a turnip.
The scientific testing being carried out by NatureX and independent researchers seems to support the ancient Peruvian Indian claims for maca.
We know from scientific studies that have been done that maca greatly enhances endurance, energy, and stamina. It's very highly valued for its improvement of sexual function. Menopausal women often lose sex drive, tends to go down. This helps to bring it back up to sort of more youthful level.
The commercial prospects for maca are potentially so enormous that attempts have been made to cultivate it in the US. All but one of those attempts has failed.
The fact that it can't be grown in Iowa or Massachusetts or Florida is actually a wonderful protective barrier for these people, because the last thing I want to see happen is that we come here, we say, wow, this maca stuff, this is great. Let's rip off some of the seed, bring it to Wyoming or wherever, plant it, forget these Peruvian people and all the hassle of shipping it. No, you know, this is their cultural heritage. This is their treasure. This is their staple food, and hopefully this is their economic future.
Andean people like Raul have been growing maca for thousands of years, but only as subsistence farmers. To survive economically in this part of the world, most young men work in the infamous mines and smelting works that blight central Peru. Parts of this region are rated amongst the most polluted places on Earth.
Why is growing maca better than mining for people?
Why?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I really want to know. I want you to tell me.
First of all, you don't screw up the land.
You don't screw up the environment?
Right. People live longer. You know, you can see more happy kids.
Chris, Sergio and local growers have formed a collective to commercialize maca. 2 hours away, near the town of Ninacaca, Santiago Ricaldi grows maca for seed. His seeds supply all of the farms working for the collective. And soon, this seed may be needed like never before. If Chris Kilham's bet is right, and maca takes off in the US the way he and NatureX think it will, this remote Andean collective will need to produce tons of the stuff, and fast. Chris wants farmers like Santiago to share in the gold rush. Just beyond Santiago's farm is the center of Chris and Sergio's maca operation in Peru. These people are all part of Chris and Sergio's collective. The initial order from NatureX is for 40 tons of maca. To fill the huge order, they're hard at work sorting and grading the dried maca roots. There's a real excitement here. The people of Ninacaca have grown maca all their lives. But these days, there's a real sense that maca may soon change their lives.
I mean, you look at it, this is not unhappy labor. These people are happy for this big order, and they're thrilled that we're all here too.
And the collective means they can charge a higher price?
Well, they charge a higher price in part because NatureX is willing to pay a higher price and recognizes that you can't have people living in poverty while you're profiting. That's not okay.
By paying nearly twice the local rate for maca, Chris and Sergio have been able to direct money into community improvements here. There is now a dental clinic. Treatment is free for everyone in Ninacaca. Dentistry has even become a spectator sport. In addition to healthcare, maca profits have brought agricultural machinery and farm vehicles for the collective. But this kind of fair trade is not the norm, certainly not in Peru. Chris Kilham is known as an advocate for indigenous people. He's looking not only to make money for his clients in the States like NatureX, but also to get a fair deal for those whose time-honoured knowledge and sheer hard work provide the raw product.
Anytime you can make money. It doesn't matter whether it's selling toasters, blue jeans, or medicinal plants. There are going to be people who are just in it for the buck, who don't really have any ethics or morals, and who will do unpleasant things to try to get competitors out of the way. And you just have to fight those bastards back, you know, beat them down and make sure that they don't get up again.
It's no wonder Chris is seen as something of a white knight by the people of Ninacaca, who are treated to a local feast.
This is cuy.
This is cuy,
which is a guinea pig.
Yeah, this is a guinea pig.
Okay, and there's his little guinea pig
And
teeth.
they get the little potatoes around it.
Thankfully, everything else on the table is made with maca, including a delicious maca sponge cake. After lunch, we're asked to join a very special ceremony in the compound outside.
The purpose of this ceremony is a blessing for the Maca order that's being prepared, and also an acknowledgement of our being here.
Donna Lucy and Donna Sophia are shamans. Their sacraments are tobacco, pisco spirit, a type of brandy, and coca leaf, which we're all chewing.
Now here are our wishes and desires.
The hopes for the future of the collective are written on these pages and buried. With the spirits now on their side, work goes on in the collective's brand new grinding facility to fill the massive order for NatureX. Kilham is satisfied with the collective's progress. It's time to return home to the States and represent these people with their corporate client. Back in New Jersey, at the NatureX factory, the 40 tons of maca from the collective goes through a high-tech extraction process to turn the dried root of the plant into a highly concentrated powder. The 40 tons that left Peru is reduced to about 5 tons in concentrate. The company says maca concentrate provides a natural energy boost and helps with sexual function in men and women. Frenchman Jacques Dukansky is the owner and CEO of NatureX. To him, maca is as exciting a prospect as he's seen in 20 years.
And are you making good progress with maca? Do you think this is a product that's going to take America by storm?
Yes, we did a lot of studies on maca and how it works and why it works, and the results were very, very good. That's why we are so we believe in this product so much.
As kind of scientific gatekeepers, NatureX plays a really important function in translating a traditional plant into something that you and I can walk into a store and buy and use and know we're going to get the same effects every time.
This is the stuff.
Yeah. So this is a concentrated extract of maca. So after it's gone through the lab analysis and all the cooking in those big tanks and then the spray drying, this is the final result.
How much is a barrel of maca like this worth?
About 2,500 US. So there's a tremendous concentration, of maca down into this.
This factory in New Jersey is a long way from the high Andes of Peru. But with a small, little-known plant called maca, Chris Kilham may have found the next big alternative remedy, making a lot of money for NatureX and perhaps bringing scarcely dreamed-of prosperity to a farming community in one of the remotest parts of the world. But whether maca catches on or not, you can be sure that out there, somewhere, Chris Kilham is still searching, still following the medicine trail.